Karnataka is in the news right now for its controversial draft employment reservation bill for locals. And the big question here is, will this latest policy hurt the Indian startup ecosystem, specifically in Bengaluru? But before we talk about that, let me bring you up to speed in case you aren't aware of what's going on here. So earlier this week, the Karnataka government approved this draft bill titled State Employment of Local Candidates in Industries, Factories, and Other Establishments Bill 2024. And the controversial part of this bill was that it made it mandatory for private companies in Karnataka to reserve 50% of managerial and 75% of non-managerial positions for local people from the state. Now, Bengaluru, which is the capital city of Karnataka, is known as the Silicon Valley of India due to the sheer number of startups and IT companies that are present there. Karnataka is responsible for exporting 42% of all software that's exported from India. That's massive. And all of this is made possible, of course, by the employees of these startups and IT companies that are exporting this software. And a lot of these people are coming from different parts of the country to find work in Karnataka. So obviously this draft bill, if it's enacted, if it comes into effect, it's absolutely going to change the way that companies in the state operate. And there is one segment that would be happy about this. Some local people, some people from Karnataka would be happy because it's going to bring more jobs to the local community, and that's always a good thing. But also another segment, which is industry leaders, well, they're not going to be happy because it could hamper the growth of the entire industry and innovation that's happening in Karnataka, because these companies are going to be forced to hire people who they otherwise wouldn't have. And look, I don't know how to say this in a way that's going to make everybody happy, so probably there's going to be people who are upset about this, but at the end of the day, companies don't hire people based on where they're from, right? Companies want to make money, and the best way to make money is hiring talented people. And so that's the metric that they're measuring prospective hires on: their talent, their abilities, their skills. And now creating this quota means that companies won't just have to look at that. They're also going to have to look at, okay, well, we have this quota. We need to make sure that this many people in our company are actually from Karnataka. And I think that's going to mess things up. It's going to make things complicated. It's going to make it difficult. And it's ultimately going to result in companies that are hiring people for the wrong reasons. Former Infosys CFO TV Mohandas Pai even called this decision fascist and unconstitutional.
This draft bill is draconian, illegal, unconstitutional, undemocratic, and fascist.
And all of this controversy has led to the Karnataka government reevaluating their decision, putting the bill on hold for the time being. Karnataka's chief minister has said that this bill is still in the preparation stage, and the IT minister has assured the public that they will be consulting with all stakeholders, ensuring a favorable environment for investment and taking care of local needs. And it's worth noting that this isn't the first time that a state has tried to do something like this. Andhra Pradesh was the first state to try to pass a similar act in 2019, which reserved 75% of jobs for locals, and then the Haryana government passed a similar law in 2020. However, ultimately, the Andhra Pradesh High Court had said that it might be unconstitutional, and the act hasn't been implemented fully at this point, and the Punjab and Haryana High Court had quashed the act outright, calling it unconstitutional. It even went so far as to say that the rule exceeded the state's authority by restricting private companies from hiring freely from the open market. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. Do you think that this act, if it were actually passed, if it came into effect, do you think that it would hamper growth in Karnataka? Do you think that it would cause companies to move out of the state looking for greener pastures elsewhere? Or do you think that it'll help locals get better jobs and actually improve the state's economy? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right, next up in the news, this is very cool, very big, very impressive. It looks like Google Maps might actually be seeing Ola Maps as a threat now, because they've decided to cut their prices by as much as 70% for Indian developers. And that is exactly how much cheaper Bhavesh Agarwal was offering Ola Maps for developers who wanted to stay on after the 1-year free trial. All right, next up in the news, according to this ET report, these states are thinking of piloting alcohol delivery through online delivery platforms like Swiggy, Zomato, Big Basket, and Blinkit. While home delivery of alcohol is illegal in most parts of India, it's actually legal in 2 states, Odisha and West Bengal, and Swiggy is already doing deliveries in West Bengal. The other states are only expected to focus on low alcohol content drinks like beer and wine in the initial phase as they collect more information and feedback from e-commerce and alcohol companies on the pros and cons of delivering alcohol. If this becomes a reality though, it could be massive for food delivery companies like Swiggy and Zomato, opening up an industry that's worth 4.5 lakh crore rupees. But even if Swiggy and Zomato don't get into alcohol delivery, it seems like they're more than happy to increase their revenue by simply hiking up their platform fees, as both of these companies have again hiked their platform fees from 5 rupees to 6 rupees. And it's kind of hard to imagine at this point that platform fees didn't exist until April of 2023 when Swiggy first introduced them, and back then it was just 2 rupees. But now almost every food and grocery delivery company is charging a platform fee. And even though this is a small cost for consumers on a delivery basis, it actually means big revenue for these companies with no added effort or cost. For context, Zomato handles around 25 lakh orders a day, which means that they will add another 25 lakh rupees to their revenue every single day by just increasing this fee. And if you believe what experts are predicting here, Zomato and Swiggy are only going to increase their platform fees further until they face resistance from consumers. And this hasn't happened so far, as their orders are continuing to rise. And also, on a related note, Dipendra Goyal is now the latest Indian entrepreneur to become a billionaire after Zomato's share price touched an all-time high of 232 rupees in intraday trading on BSE, meaning that the valuation of the company, the market cap, is now upwards of 2 lakh crore rupees. All right, next up in the news, a year back, Groww had 5.7 million active users on its platform, meaning that it was in second place after Zerodha. But now, after just a year, Groww has increased their investor base to 10.9 million users, while Zerodha is just at 7.7 million users. And this has been an ongoing trend. A lot of us saw this coming, but this next detail, this next fact about this industry might surprise you, because the third biggest investing platform, Angel One, which only had 4.4 million users, is inching closer to Zerodha now with 6.7 million active users. According to this Money Control article, Angel One has been adding more users than Zerodha for the past year, and is expected to surpass Zerodha in terms of active users pretty soon here. So I'm curious to know from you guys, do you think that Zerodha is slowly dying, or can they make a comeback? Leave a comment down below. All right, now let's move into the funding news segment for today's video. So this week, Indian startups raised a total of $171 million, which is actually higher than last week's $138 million. And the leader this week was Gurugram-based home services startup Urban Company, which raised $63 million. But there's actually an interesting part to this story, because remember Snapdeal's founders? Well, these guys actually invested 57 lakh rupees into Urban Company back in 2015, and they finally now made an exit with 111 crore rupees. That's almost a 200x return on their initial investment. After that, we have Gurugram-based eyewear retailer Lenskart, and they raised $20 million. And then next, we have Bengaluru-based drone service provider Aereo, which helps companies with mapping large areas of land across industries like mining, rural and urban development, planning and construction, and they've raised $15 million in their Series B round. And this is actually kind of a fun story for me too, a bit of a throwback, because all the way back in 2019, I actually interviewed one of the founders of this company. Back then, the company was called Arav Unmanned Systems, AUS. And at the time, I was just recording podcasts from behind the camera. I didn't really know what I was doing. There wasn't like a two-way conversation. I would just force the guest to monologue. But if you want to check out that conversation and hear about where this company was at a couple of years ago, you can find that video up here. Up next, we have Bengaluru-based fashion e-commerce startup NewMe, which is basically a fast fashion brand catering to Gen Z, and they've raised $18 million in their Series A round. After that, we've got Bengaluru-based ride-hailing startup Namayatri, which is forcing Ola and Uber to adapt to a fixed subscription model for their auto business, and they've raised $11 million in their pre-Series A round. Following this, we have Mumbai-based Corvi LED, which is basically selling innovative LED lighting solutions. They raised $8 million in their Series B round. And then after that, we have Gurugram-based Boon, which is making IoT-enabled water purifiers, and they raised $5 million in their Series A round. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you this week. But before I let you go, I want you to check out the latest business case study that we made on Zepto, where we talk about how they made 10-minute grocery delivery possible in India and their plans to be bigger than Dmart. So if you're interested in checking that video out, you can find a link to it up here in the top corner of your screen. But until next time, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.